Hello everyone, welcome to another Facebook Live chat. Today we're going to be talking with Kevin Roberts, who's the author of this book, 64 Shots, Leadership in a Crazy World. He's the chairman of Saatchi Saatchi, and he's on Twitter at KRConnect. Please follow him. Susan says, let's hear it for all of us who are radical optimists. Let's get to the book, 64 Shots, Leadership.
Let's hear more about Susan, because we got to hear more radical optimism.
That's right. 64 Shots, Leadership in a Crazy World by Kevin Roberts. You chose to make a book that it's itself creative, I think, in the way it looks and feels. Talk about that a little bit.
I hope so, because I think, obviously you can buy the ebook version, and that's very important, right, for speed, etc., but it's and. I don't think we live in a digital world. We live in a totally connected world of the physical and the digital, the real and the unreal, the virtual and the artificial, and the real, right? And so we've used beautiful design elements in here. We've used
photographs,
64 shots of people. People say, how can you put, Wanda Ferragamo next to Peter Drucker? And I said, because this is eclectic. It's the 64 people that have inspired me, and they've inspired me through their leadership in fashion, in business, in art, in politics.
So let's pick a couple and talk about them. Here are two very powerful.
Those are pretty obvious. Jobs and Bezos.
Right.
I mean, Jobs, the creative maestro. Bezos is so impressive, apart from his sort of loony laugh. This guy's a brilliant guy. I mean, he goes on about, there are two kinds of companies in the world: those that want to charge more and those that work to charge less. We will be the second kind.
He makes lots of money doing it.
Right, well, yeah, that's a side benefit for him, though. He's driven really by the purpose and what they're trying to do. He talked once about strategy, and he said, strategy's easy, I spend no time on it. It's very simple. Strategically, we want to offer the widest possible range at the lowest possible price, same-day delivery. End of strategic discussion. It's fantastic, don't you think?
How would you compare him to the old retailers of London who are so famous and so successful? What does he have in common with them, and maybe not in common with them?
Yeah, I think what he has in common with them are two things. One, customers are paramount at Amazon. They know more about you and I than anybody else. And that was the way the guys who founded Sainsbury and the guys who founded Marks and Spencer and so on thought about
Colin
things.
Powell, just to remind folks, some younger folks, General Powell's been out of public life for so long that some of our younger viewers may not even remember or know him. Talk a little bit, you said the great line that you quoted him, but what else makes him worthy of being in the 64 shots?
I think he was the ultimate, well, he was this guy's boss. Here's Norman Schwarzkopf, who I met once in Colorado, and he and I were chatting about it, and he gave me the best piece of advice I've ever had.
Ooh.
He led, the defense of Kuwait and kicked Saddam back into Iraq, and would have continued if the Americans had had a different policy. Schwarzkopf said to me, when given command, take charge and do what's right. And I think that, wow, man, that's about it. If you're a leader, you go with that. When given command, take charge and do what's right. And he reported to Powell. Powell, we spoke together at a leadership conference, and we were in the green room, and I was trying to pick his brains on leadership, as you would. And he said to me, one of the key things I learned is never let adverse facts get in the way of a good decision. So, a
lot of people think the opposite.
Of course they do, and they're data driven and all, but everybody has the same data, everybody has the same information. We need it, but you've got to read between the lines, not just read the lines. Great actors read the lines, but it's between the lines. When you answer questions as a leader, you shouldn't be answering the question, you should be answering the person. And this is the kind of thing that Powell was saying in that sort of idea. I was very impressed with him.
Who else do we have?
Well, you have Rowan Williams, who was the Archbishop of Canterbury. I work with him, for him, at Magdalen College in Cambridge, where I teach the Masters of Philosophy. And you've got this wonderful man, born in Wales, went to a grammar school, played rugby, drinks red wine, and as a spiritual leader, for the Anglicans, for the Church of England, just moved us forward very progressively without extremism. And I think he's a wonderful spiritual. Oh, and there you have Twiggy and Bridget Bardot. This is, again, could be Twiggy was the great model of the 60s, now the face of Marks and Spencer as she turns into a silver fox. And Bardot at the time was the most beautiful, sexy woman of the age.
Who else do we have in there? Let's get a couple more in there. And
there's my boss, Mary Quant.
Oh, yeah.
So Mary was my first boss. In fact, my first 3 bosses were all women, which prepared me for this world, because we're living now in a real women's world, you know, where you have connectivity, you have collaboration, you have all the stuff that women are just brilliant at doing. It's the way they work, you know. This is a wonderful time for women, and you're looking at it around the world's leadership, you know, where you have, I think, probably Angela Merkel's the most impressive, you know, leader out there. You've now got Theresa May, who I think is going to be Margaret Thatcher sort of reborn. You've got Helen Clark, who should be the next Secretary General of the United Nations.
Former New Zealand Prime Minister,
Former New Zealand
and
PM.
veteran of this Facebook Live session.
Oh, is that right?
Yeah, we did a wonderful talk together.
Oh, terrific.
Yeah.
Well, I think, you know, I mean, we're all thinking about the presidential election. In my heart, I think that the leader of the UN is just as important, because we need someone to take that forward, particularly in an era where, you know, Putin's marching strongly.
Yeah.
Okay, and the Americans and the Brits are going to be uncertain on foreign policy, and we need some real leadership, I think, at the UN. And I think Helen would certainly provide real leadership.
Yeah. So let's say one last thing about the book. Why this book? Why now?
Okay, we can do a survey of all the readers metaphorically.
Yeah.
Hands up if you want to be a leader.
Yeah.
Okay, everybody's raised their hands. Okay, we've not got too many followers in this environment. Hands up if you think the world is crazy. So this book's for you.
So you have to get it.
That's it.
Yeah. And what was the most fun part of writing the book?
You know, I didn't write it. I just dictated it. I just talked it. I just spoke it. And Brian and his team probed me and pushed me and took me to places.
Nice.
It was just sheer fun. I don't do any of this sweat stuff. We don't have editors or publishers. And when you read the book, you'll see it probably needed both. I don't know. But what this is just storytelling. In fact, it's story sharing. And so I loved just remembering this is all really personal to me and passionate. So it was like, wow, it's like we're doing my own This Is Your Life. So it was real fun. People ask me how long it took, right? And obviously, you know,
Your whole life.
That's it. The Picasso answer is 60 years, but the real answer is like 90 days, you know, of which I was still living, working and doing that. But given technology, you're just talking to this stuff now, and out it comes.
I want you to give us the equation again so that people hear it.
IQ plus EQ plus TQ plus BQ, all powered by CQ.
Go through them again.
Intelligence quotient is IQ, but that's not IQ as measured by universities. It's measured of how quickly do you fail fast, learn fast, fix fast. Do you have high IQ? EQ, emotional quotient. Can you feel consumers? Can you feel markets? Not can you read them, understand them, measure them, count them. EQ, can you feel empathy? TQ, are you a slave to technology and you know you sleep with your phone and you're constantly living in FOMO and every time you have dinner with your friends you've got your phone out? Or do you use technology like you do to accelerate, to enliven, to enrich, to learn, right? Finally, BQ, bloody quick. We can't afford to hang around, all powered by the inestimable C, creativity quotient.
Wonderful.